privilege and honor to have a great superintendent, Mr. David Anderson. David, thank you for being here. Thank you for this interview. And to carry on this interview, we have Tyler, who is he goes to Texas A&M. He's into the construction management of construction science major at Texas A&M. Tyler, thank you very much for carrying on the interview for us. Okay.
David, the first question, we just kind of want to go over a little bit about yourself, your personal life. Just kind of tell us where you're from, background, stuff like that.
I'm a native Houstonian. I've lived here for 56 years. Even though I'm from Houston, I'm a Cowboys fan. Haha. I've been in the construction industry for about 40 years, and the cool thing about it is over the years I've taken my children, now I take my grandchildren out to the sites, let them see from clearing stages through the grading and erection of buildings and the interiors. And pretty cool part is when you drive across Houston, you come across some of these kind of landmarks to me that I've worked on. I've worked on the Astrodome and did some pretty cool stuff, some hospitals and stuff downtown and some high rises. And so when we travel across and I get to look at those, it brings back memories of my youth and, the old lion days, so to speak.
What do you do as a superintendent every day? And what are your jobs or your roles as?
Okay, so I've been in construction for 40 years. I started off as a laborer in a union, and then I was a apprentice carpenter. I went through a 4-year trade school through the union, and I've worked heavy industrial. I've worked high-rise buildings, heavy concrete, wastewater treatment plants, high-rise, and then now we do a lot of educational, a lot of religious, and some community work. And so through my years of experience and stuff, for me, what's really cool about being a superintendent is that I get to sit in the meetings with the architects and the owners and everything, and then I get to go out to the field and get the guys and go build the job, And I try to have a philosophy that every contractor and every craft is as important as the next one, and everyone has a piece of the puzzle. And they need all these pieces of this puzzle to be able to get this building done. We can't turn a building over without drywall, without being finished, without having electrical and lighting and everything, so everything's valuable. And to be proactive and to anything that is a problem out in the field, to try to help resolve it, to get with the owners and the architects to get a fast resolution, to minimize downtime.
Tell us about a building. So you have a brand new building. Tell us the sequence, the time frame, the sequence to give that building from clearing the site up to getting people moving into that building.
One thing like we have working with an intern and someone that's coming through learning and fixing to go into management, we start off like there's a request for a building. So a geotech report comes out, they come out, they do a bore, they tell you what the soils and all for to get down to the bearing stratuses and stuff, and we start off with that design. So then after that information, it's designed by an architect and engineers. We get to come out and strip the land, clear the land, strip it, and get into doing environmental controls for runoff and to protect our environment and the infrastructure. And so then once the trees and clearings go, then we start from the ground up. What's underneath the pavement? It's the storm drainage system, the sanitary. We work our way up, and there's hours and hours and months up underneath something that a lot of people don't see. So basically there's a city, like a highway up underneath there, taking your storm out from this into the city management systems, and sanitary, all the tie-ins that you got to coordinate with the city for the right of way. Basically all that stuff gets put in and it's not seen. Then from there, slabs poured, then we start to erect steel. Once steel goes in, pour second floor, and then we start the perimeter framing, start closing it in, getting it to where the walls go up, the exterior structure, damp proofing, drying, putting windows, getting dried in the roof. Then we start on our interior, framing, sheetrock, roughing in for mechanical, electrical. Next phase would be HVAC startup to climatize the building so we can do certain finishes. So you can paint, do flooring, and test all your HVAC, make sure everything's functioning right. Energy management systems. Nowadays there's a lot of security involved in schools. There's a lot of interlock systems. There's a lot of purge systems for labs. Then we take it through into actually flooring and getting it ready to occupy. So in a building like this, it's approximately 18 months, from start to finish. And then we get to spend the time with the owner and the architects to walk through the punch list and make sure that it's, ready to inhabit. And then we get to overlay with the owner, move furniture in, make sure everybody's trained on the systems and everything, and then basically turn that building over to them. And then we get to move somewhere else and start over again.
How many workers would you say are on the job site?
Well, at this point, we're probably averaging about 50. We're on a 27-acre site. It's approximately $45 million. It's a 2-story building. It has 3 practice fields. It has a retention pond. It has a lot of paving. So the building, like I said, is probably 140 to 160,000 square feet, 2-story. And then we have a large site with a lot of utilities and everything. So max, we'll probably be running 100 to 120 people on site. From start to finish, we're probably different people that we orientate that's on site probably wind up being a couple thousand people.
And so, David, the last question that I have for you, for students that are wanting to go into architecture, engineer, or construction management, what would be the best advice that you could give them while they're learning, and then whenever they get out actually into the field?
The best advice, you're learning in a controlled environment, you're learning the design purpose and all, then you get to go out and intermingle with the actual application. And it takes the design premises, it takes project managing, and it takes field to get done, to work as a team. We can't build buildings without design and without contracts. And then it's our part at that point to get to take to actually build the building. And it is everybody's valuable. Learn the best techniques that you can from whoever you're with, and you kind of make from your experiences at a certain point. You have enough experience that you take that you can associate, one building or one job from another, and then just to build upon that. And then it's like anything, it's like a building. The most important part is its foundation. So through your learning, whether it's at your college or on site, is to get a strong foundation and then to build upon that. A building is only as good as its foundation. So your education and your experience is your building blocks, and you get out of something what you put into it. There's no limitations for you. You set your own limitations. So, set goals that you achieve, and then broaden your goals, and then always when you do something, be proud of what you do, because it's going to represent you. When you build a building, it's up for 50 to 100 years, so you're good something that potentially will be there after you're gone. So you're going to make a physical statement. And so be proud of what you do, because when it's all said and done, doctors, lawyers, teachers, warehouse workers, everybody needs a building. So we build the buildings, and basically we build America.